Okay, wonderful. Well, thank you, everybody, for staying around. I mean, I feel very proud of this conference because it's really the top people who are here, both on stage and in the audience, and it's an honor that you all come. So I'd like to introduce you to our panelists. To my immediate right is Raymond Powell. He's Vice President of Virtual Reality for HTC. To his right is Andrew McGovern. He's Vice President of Media and Entertainment for IM360. To his right is Sasha Marinkovic. He's Head of VR Virtual Reality Marketing for AMD. To his right is Richard Marks. He's Director of the PlayStation Magic Lab for Sony Computer Entertainment. And to his right, which is it's an honor that he's joined us here today, is Manuel Gutierrez. He's CEO of ImmersiON-VRelia. And he actually, I just found out today that he flew in, and he actually contributed to the 3D Blu-ray standard. So we'll talk a little bit about that later as well. So please, let's give a round of applause for our panelists. So, you know what I think would be great I'll introduce, well, I already introduced you, but it would be great if we told us a little bit about yourselves. Okay, I know that not everyone was able to see everybody's presentation today. So, Raymond, can you tell us a little bit about your work at HTC?
Okay, it's my pleasure to join this event. I flew from Taiwan, so it's my first time to use English as to describe myself in a state. So I worked in HTC for 12 years. Basically, my background was starting from the smartphone. So most of the HTC smartphone came from IT, and I worked with Google on the first Android devices back to 2006, 2008. And just like Phil said this afternoon, we met Bob last year, and then we were looking for the next new technology which can change the world, and we think VR is that one. So I changed my career just to focus on VR since then. My current job in HTC is looking for the new technology, scouting together with Phil and look at the VR trend just to help the company to make some decisions and making some strategy.
Okay, very good. Now, Andrew, if memory serves, IM360, I mean, it's partly rooted with immersive media. Am I right? It's like immersive media and digital domain, and it's a joint venture creating IM360. Am I right?
Yeah, that is right.
That is correct. Okay, good. But immersive media's early roots was with Google's Street Camp. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, actually it started a little bit before that. We released the first ever 360 video in 1995 at C-Draft in Los Angeles. We've had quite a long history within this market of spherical video. We originally started kind of innovating in our camera platform with the military in the early 2000s. So a lot of this technology rose out of our work with the CIA, DoD, U.S. military, Capitol Police. They really wanted to capture pictures of streets for a lot of situational awareness, a lot of mission planning. So we actually collected all of Iraq and Afghanistan during the wars with them for a lot of their mission planning. It was called Project Bazaar. But a lot of that technology we started to develop in the military and kind of carried over to Google Street View. That's where I became involved with immersive media as one of the first 6 original Google Street View drivers. So I mapped all of Eastern Canada here. And we eventually started to kind of carry over this platform, this technology, into a lot of the media and entertainment space. We announced this year, which we're really excited about, is a joint venture with Digital Domain. If anyone doesn't know them, they're one of the leading providers of special effects in Hollywood. And we're really partnered with them on the entertainment space and really kind of innovating and creating great content for virtual reality.
And just to highlight how deeply entrenched you've personally been in this for some time. Am I right that you drove the camera around the city?
Yes. So I captured all the streets from Toronto onwards to Quebec City, and I started with Immersed Media in 2006, and kind of rose through the ranks and now I'm part of their entertainment division doing some very cool work in the virtual reality space.
Okay, wonderful. Now, Sasha, before being head of VR for marketing for AMD, you've actually got an earlier career, now, please correct me if I'm wrong, in audio as well. Like can you elaborate a little more?
Well, the first project I worked on was called Thunder, and it got canceled. It was in 1996, so about 19 years ago. So that was a devastating blow early on, but then I got to work on graphics products, Rage 128, and then the first Radeon product, first integrated chipsets in the basic project management capacity, then moved on to product management for the discrete GPUs, went to Europe, did product and field marketing for 3 years, came back, launched FX, APUs, HSA, and then moved on to VR. So it's been never a dull moment at AMD, and that's what I love about the company, that we are constantly on the leading edge of the technology. We're constantly pushing the boundaries, and you are constantly learning something new and kind of setting those trends.
Wonderful. Richard, we've known each other a few years now, and when we did know each other, your history was well tenured even before then. Maybe you could tell us, you're kind of a bit of a, how should I put it, somewhat of an inventing background. Maybe you could tell us about some of the innovations you've directly been involved with at Sony.
Sure, I'm going to talk about it more tomorrow, so I won't go too long, but I've been at PlayStation since 1999, and originally started when the PlayStation 2 started up and worked on alternative forms of input and interaction with iToy, and PlayStation Eye, and PlayStation Move, and now PlayStation VR. So that's what I've done.
Okay, wonderful. And finally, Manuel, we've known each other a long time as well. You run ImmersiON-VRelia. Tell us about your work. And also tell us about your involvement with the 3D Blu-ray standard.
Sure, of course. Thank you. Yeah, so I'm Futurists from ImmersiON-VRelia. And it was started a long time ago. I just wanted to bring 3D to the masses. I started actually with a head-mounted display and the whole infrastructure, the cameras, stereoscopic cameras, the encoder, the decoder, the Blu-ray, the computer generated, and the head-mounted display. In the meantime, as a byproduct, I was showing everything to everybody, right? Head-mounted displays were not exactly well adopted for the consumer or for Hollywood industries back in the days, or for PlayStation or for the Xbox or something like that. Even though we insisted and we created some encoding methods, we patented them, and later the years, in 2009, they were selected by the Blu-ray Disc Association as part of this official standard or the official specification for Blu-ray. We were selling the head-mounted displays for the military, Lockheed Martin, NASA, the Pentagon, and now I'm starting ImmersiON-VRelia. Well, we're leveraging all the knowledge that we acquired for the military and the head-mounted displays, and now we're going to bring that to the consumer electronics market, like having a pair of stereoscopic cameras to recognize the gestures or the environment without any cameras or lasers looking at you. It's more like a self-contained service. So that's ImmersiON-VRelia. We have a set of products and a platform for distribution of content for CG and videos. And I've known Neil for, probably 10 years now.
Yeah, it's been flies.
Yeah.
So, something is very clear from each of you, and you've got this, all have tenured careers. It goes back a long time. I mean, when VR landed on your desk, it was either take care of this, or, do you want to go with this? And the energy I get from each of you is you're personally enthusiastic about this. This is something like virtual reality, something that you're in immersive technology, something that you're personally excited about. And you're all very heavily invested in this. So I think the big question I have is, why are you so confident? What is it about the technology that makes you so confident about this? And what makes this a sure thing for both your businesses and your careers? So Raymond, why don't you start? Okay.
Well, this is very interesting, but in my mind, I am extremely convinced that the next logical step for getting the user in a new way to, get a story or experience content is definitely in an immersive way, and that's what we have been supporting since the first time I created the first mounted display. I'm talking about back in 2003, and the first prototype in 1999. So the whole idea is that we have been dealing with a 2D screen and high definition, flat, bigger, but it's always 3D. It's always. I just wanted to bring 3D, and in the meantime, well, like the whole infrastructure for virtual reality. So I'm convinced, as a user, as a person who likes technology, I'm an electronics engineer myself, I can only see the potential of virtual reality, and that's why I'm absolutely sure, convinced that virtual reality is definitely the way to go for education, for medical applications, for entertainment, and many other applications that I'm sure they're going to revolutionize the way we learn, play, and interact and work.
Richard? For me, I've always worked on interaction, and that's been my focus. And other mediums are more passive, where you just are absorbing what somebody's telling you. And games are more interactive, where you're actually trying to change the story as it's unfolding. And virtual reality is removing some of the disconnect that's always been there between yourself and the game or the story, by placing you right inside of it and feeling that you're there. So it's kind of a natural evolution of interaction, I think, for games. And there's this pent-up undercurrent within PlayStation always of all the technologists who've been wanting to be able to do this for a long time. It's not new to us, actually. There's been, ever since I've been there, people have talked about it, but it's now been possible to do well. So.
Okay. Sasha?
Well, for me, I guess when I look at it, I said it earlier today, I think this is once in a lifetime opportunity to work on a medium that is so different. There was radio, MTV, and PC, and I wasn't there when it was changing and when that was happening. But I think VR is again going to revolutionize everything, and some people are saying this is the last medium to be telling the story, being immersive and everything. And getting in so early and helping to shape it up in a small part is incredibly exciting.
I think on the VR space, Immersive and Line 360 have always been very big believers in this field, in this format. For over 15 years, we've really saw a lot of utility, and I think we've always believed that people will demand and people will like to have that sense of immersion with this format. And we've seen it with the mapping stuff we've done in the early 2000s with Google. 75 million people logged on to Street View in 3 days when it launched. That's phenomenal. It's become an industry standard in the way people experience maps and environments on the mapping side. But we've always seen an evolution of this format carrying over to entertainment and VR. We spent a heck of a lot of time trying to convince people that this is going to happen and waiting for technology to catch up to be able to support it. And we see virtual reality as just the next progression of this format and of this technology. And we see this carrying over to VR and AR into the future.
So, myself, I'm looking for more like technology trend perspective. Back to end of 19, we're looking for different like the PC, the internet, and at that point, like I'm feeling the wireless communication is probably the next generation. So we're looking for something like wireless protocols and phones, and the smartphones gets ramp up, but recently we feel that's probably another turning point to find another new technology. So for HTC's past experience, like we care user experience very much. So we look very many different type of technology. We think the virtual reality is really so, I don't know how to say that, but so immersive, like user can fully dedicate into this virtual world. And you consider all the hardware, technology, software, everything just get mature, and then it's just the right timing to get this new technology ramp up and into the person's life. It's just like a totally, maybe next decade will be this new platform will ramp up. So that's why HTC invests quite a lot would probably bet all we have to this platform.
So here's a longer term question for you. Right now, I mean, with the exception of a handful of developer kits, there's nothing in the market. I mean, Immersed is an example, and there's other events as well that, you know, the experts are getting together, they're working to learn from each other. 2016 is going to hit, the products are on the market. Do you see a future where there's just so much to learn over the course of years that the community will continually get together and learn from each other? Or do you think it's a type of media where, you know, we've learned all there is to learn, you know, everyone knows how to create it, let's move on to something else?
You have job security, Neil.
I think there's some areas where it's a very clear engineering path of progression that doesn't need anything more than engineering work, and those things will just scale. There's other areas that are not so clear on what should change and how you can improve it. There's some fundamental things. And again, I always focus on the interaction side of things. And interaction is one of the hardest ones because, you know, where people are talking about tracking your fingers and things like that, and that's just not there right now.
I also think like it would also, like the VR market would very much follow traditional technological innovations. You look at the computer in the 60s, 70s, and 80s, and that, you know, path of innovation. I think where we are in the VR market right now is, you know, we're very much in the 1960s of kind of computer innovation. You know, we have a lot of different companies and a lot of different methodologies competing with each other right now. And I think what's really going to happen is the community is going to build this brain trust, and it's going to kind of continue to push, you know, the innovation. You're going to see standards becoming developed, and you're going to see, you know, certain companies come up and which are going to be leaders in this space, and it's going to follow very much like you've seen with the internet, computers, and a lot of innovation in the past.
So I think from I think the technology is just too new. There's so many different areas like the whole community needs to learn, including the content, even the controlling mechanism, because it's about the whole sense. Right now we focus on the eye, on the ear, but eventually you need to take care of all different sense, right, to get a complete virtual immersive into that. So it's really a long way to go. I think with the next even 1 or 2 years, there's just so many different new approach, new thinking from different ways to help people to really create a new immersive content version. I think that's still a couple years.
Yeah, on that front, I think it's neat is that, like maybe with 3D graphics was a long time ago, or early video games, some clever people can make a very big step forward with the content they create that figures out a way around some of the limitations, and then other people can learn about that. And so people can, very small teams can have big differences right now.
Yeah, I mean, clearly we're at the beginning of the early adoption curve. I mean, during the last couple of years, 1 2 years, we have been in that ramp up of the adoption curve. There's still a lot that is going to happen. I think there's going to be a huge climb up. There are many things that need to be discovered. There are many things that need to be redesigned, standardized, and then embraced. It's interesting, this adoption curve, even with the technologies, right? Even when you have all the elements to make it happen, it always depends on the content and the user to embrace the technology. So creating great content and creating this kind of events where people get a first sight and glance of how the technology is evolving, and everybody will just, you know, keep up with acquiring and learning more, and create the prices are probably going to go down in the future. So that's going to yield to a massive adoption or a mainstream adoption. And I can envision VR to be as important as the NAB in Vegas or any other show that is going to grow, and it's going to be an entire new media, and everybody's going to be creating around it. I think it's going to be big, and I think it's just starting.
You're on Canadian soil, so I can safely say the media is the message. It's the expression, meaning that the nature of the content is defined by the nature of the technology, of the medium. And don't chase me if I got it wrong, okay? But nonetheless, we're seeing a series of head mounts today. You can see Sony PlayStation VR, ImmersiON-VRelia's work, and Oculus. There's all kinds of stuff out there. Do the lessons have to be relearned every time the media changes? Like, for example, Starbase Studios, they've got a head mount that's 210 degrees field of view versus other solutions which are 90 to 110 degrees. Does that change make a dramatic, does it alter the way content has to be created beyond field of view because of the change in technology? Are we always going to have this learning curve because the technology is going to change over the years?
Well, I think it's going to be evolving constantly, and we need to adapt. But at the same time, we don't want to happen the same thing that some of the users out there experienced. There was a stage in time where the users were confused about the 3D television, a net television, a 3D television, a smart television, a connected television, a 4K television, a 2K television. They got so confused about that kind of variety that they actually stopped acquiring equipment. And they, well, I'll rather wait until the TV with no glasses appears, because there were some companies that were even irresponsible enough to say that there were going to be some glasses-free televisions that were going to be in your living room that never happened. So we don't want to confuse the users, and we need to learn from the past. There are many things that we can learn from the past, precisely about the 3D industry. The content, the bad content can definitely kill any industry, like Frankston was saying. And at the same time, the lack of standardization or the lack of a platform that is stable, where people can just create and drag and drop their content and deploy it until we reach that moment. It's going to be very difficult for the mainstream to really embrace the technology. I think we can learn from the others' mistakes, and we need to be changing.
Sasha, if I could add, with the graphics industry, what I've seen is like year after year, the graphics cards get faster. Obviously, they're putting more circuits in the chips, and they're evolving. With your, I know you shared a keynote today, but has virtual reality and immersive tech, has it effectively turned the graphics industry on its ear? And what I mean by that is, has it forced the graphics industry to take on new considerations it never had to deal with before?
Well, I think that's going to be evolving. I think we had the vision a few years ago about where we want to get it, and we talked about the interactivity of the game and the visual quality of the movie becoming one. But we just didn't know that it's going to come out in the shape of headsets and how that's going to play out. We knew how we want the content to look like, and it all came together now in 2015. We did have some folks in the hardware even a few years ago that we are basically utilizing now and bringing it to market. Is it going to be changing? Yes, because we are going to be learning new things and seeing how people are responding to the content and how content is evolving until we get to the sweet spot, and then we start taking to the evolution and not revolution.
So, I have a two-part question for all of you. So right now, we've been seeing the products. We've named the products that are coming out. They're going to have software attached to them. But this morning, from the analysts, and I think the wish for the industry is to sell millions and millions of units. The closest comparable I can think of is television. I mean, if I go to watch TV, I enjoy my TV show, but I don't necessarily think about what product I'm watching my TV show on. I just want to sit down, I want to turn on the hockey game, or watch a movie, and I'm happy. Should VR have a similar vision? Is that the ultimate path for VR, where that has huge numbers and we're no longer thinking about the product, we're just thinking about the experience? What is the ultimate future for VR from the consumer hardware relationship? Oh, that's a loaded one, isn't it?
Well, I think that from a consumer point of view, as a user, you want the technology to be seamless to your daily use. You don't want to hassle with the technology, connecting it, configuring, installing the driver, updating the software, making a patch. You want the technology to just work. If you focus only on the market, like just deploy units, millions of units, without taking care of the experience for the user, the graphic user interface, the interaction with the system, the content itself. If we don't do that, we're in a great danger of falling in the same errors and the same mistakes of the past, where Blu-ray, 3D Blu-ray players were deployed, 3D televisions were deployed, but just trying to inundate or flood the market with the hardware wasn't enough, because there was not enough content, and the user experience was not exactly the best. And some of the glasses, the shutter glasses, were so expensive, even though we know that they were by $10, so they for $10, $15, so they were selling it at $100. That actually killed and completely stopped the adoption. And if we focus only on deploying units, because it's a big market, without putting good attention on the acquisition power of the user, the means they have to create a virtual experience at home, and the content that they're going to be watching, then we're going to be in a complicated situation. I think we need to be very, very careful. More than targeting the number and the volume, we have to do things right, and then move forward.
Yeah, so I don't know if we're going to get to where you said television, where it's kind of like you don't care when it's on as much. You care a little bit, but not as much as you do. In the video game space, there's two answers to that. There's PC, which is kind of like that, but then there's consoles, which are not at all like that. So there's two worlds. What I think for VR is, whether or not we get to there, an important step before that is somebody who does care about the experience, and that's what our company has a big benefit at, is we control the entire vertical all the way from the hardware up to the content. We curate the content. So we will make sure there will be a platform that is like that, for sure. And then, whether it becomes more open and there's standards on top of that eventually, could happen. If it's a big enough market, it will happen. So I think it will happen eventually, but I think there's steps along the way that still are valid to take.
Our view is more similar. Like, I think VR eventually, in our vision, is a different type of medium to help people to go to the virtual world. So you will see the different contents. Somebody will provide a premium content, somebody will provide paid content. It just depends their own business model and how it works. So in the long run, we see VR will want to be a personal, family type of a tool. Like when you to a certain stage, you just buy one, and then you can go to the virtual world, any place, whenever you want. And what kind of content, it depends on your own decision. That will be a separate business model, capital, to drive that model.
Andrew, did you want to add something?
I would really say from Immersive's perspective, we're really not in the hardware headset side. We don't care what headsets are out there or what platforms are available. We push to anything. Whether it's an HTC or Sony or whatever chipset, we are more focused on the content side. And a lot of people, even say on this panel and throughout this conference, it's all about creating good content. But really, what does that mean? And it's quite a loaded question. It's just, you can't just say go out and create great content, because our focus is there's a lot that has to fall into place to go create great content that's going to sit on these headsets. What are we going to capture this content in? A lot of cameras, can only capture 3 or 4K, or some cameras, they can capture, 10, 13K. But how am I going to stream that back to my iPhone or my Note 4 that's going to go on my Gear VR? There's a lot of fundamental technical problems that we are addressing. We look at in order to create great content from the technical side, and also looking at, what is our workflows? If it's more expensive to go out and create VR content, how am I going to go and sell that to, someone from a network or a studio and going, you know what, it's going to cost 2 times more to create virtual content than traditional content. Can we really pass that cost back to the consumer? So we focus a lot on what is our workflow, what is our hardware specs from the content side, in order to go enable great creative people to have all the tools necessary that they can knock out of the park with great content that can go on any of these devices.
Did you want to add something? Okay. So how about this? Why don't we open the floor to questions, because everybody's exhausted, including myself and our poor panelists. They're all like 3 hours off schedule as well. So, but again, you've got the industry's best right here, including yourselves. If there's any questions, please raise your hand. Jose, go ahead.
This one we talk about later on these standards. I don't know really how you get the standards for in the industry, because I don't know how this thing goes. But especially standards. Who is your big companies in this industry? Who is doing something, and how we can just accomplish that matter? Because I would love to be in some kind of standard association or something that they can just protect all of us somehow.
Okay. Well, that's a very good question. Who's in charge of standardizing? And the thing is, the Immersive Technology Alliance is actually doing a lot of work towards the standardization. They have some working groups and task forces aligned to address every single layer of the ecosystem. Because we have many challenges. You hit it right in the nail. You can have cameras that are 1080p, 2K, 4K, 16K. I was showing some rigs a few minutes ago that are like top of the notch. Spherical rigs with 16K per view. So when we talk about all that, well, how are we going to encode? How are we going to compress that information? Where are we going to store it? How are we going to deploy it? How is that going to reach myself? Exactly, that's the problem. So that's one part of the ecosystem. Then we're talking about the whole deployment chain, and then we're talking about the sensors, and then we're talking about the interaction, then we're talking about the resolution of the display, then we're talking about the platforms that are going to be used for decoding. Is the decoding going to happen on the chip? Is there going to be a software decoder? About the audio, we're facing many challenges with audio. I mean, 16 channels of audio. How many channels do you want to have for the surround sound that is going to be selected on an interactive way? You have to deploy all those channels, or you can go for a different solution where it emulates the channels. So all these kind of things need to be standardized. Right now, we're starting. There's no ground that is referenced. There are many initiatives, like in the case of Liquid VR, in the case of NVIDIA as well, with their initiatives, where they are trying to set a ground for the minimum specs required for a head-mounted display, for rendering stereo, for rendering the visual reality with a certain field of view. There are a few SDKs out there. And the whole idea is that we're going to be building from the ground up. The key people of the industry needs to get together, and then many things will happen, and many things will follow, and it's going to escalate. I remember it's all about starting with a small group, then it becomes larger, and the big companies join, and then we all talk about the different benefits, the pros and the cons, and then it starts designing and drafting the standard itself. Until you start creating documents, versions, revisions, the roosters, and then finally you have a very stable document that talks about the standard, how it interacts, what it receives, what are the inputs, the process, the outputs, the characteristics, and all that. If you want to add something.
I would say just on the standard side, I think it's going to be up to a lot of kind of market leaders to try to set the standard. Whether it's a headset side, Sony or HTC or anyone out there. You kind of look back, I don't know if anyone knows, it's called the Doherty threshold. It's basically the point in which when people interact with a computer, there's no latency, so it's just a very fluid type experience. And IBM published a paper I think in '78, that basically said, well, no, it can't be 2 seconds, because 2 seconds for you to click a mouse and to get feedback from your computer is just, it breaks the whole user experience. You know, it has to be 400 milliseconds. I think you're going to have market leaders within the space that are going to come out and go, no, we have to go from 2 seconds to 400 milliseconds, and we're going to set certain thresholds for content, for resolution, for specs like that. And I think you'll see market leaders begin to kind of take a leadership role in that.
Okay. Like the 16 milliseconds related.
Any other questions? Okay, Ben.
I love the talk about content being king and everything like that. I'm very interested to hear, just real quickly from each of you, what's your favorite piece of, one of your more favorited pieces of VR content you've seen?
Well, the content that I've seen from Dan Ferguson, it's great. I highly recommend you to check all the content they are creating, and Framester is also very good content.
I still like Secret Shop most.
I didn't hear you.
I like Secret Shop most until now. Even I know Ben from Weber, but I still like Secret Shop. They're doing lots of, I would say, experiments there. So I really like that most.
I hate to say it, but I really don't have a favorite. Nothing. I kind of have a very high bar that I set, and I look at it and go, nothing really has set that aha moment. We've created a lot of content ourselves, and I think in the VR side, we've yet to see that, aha moment of going, wow, there's the future.
I bet that Emmy Award, you must have liked that one though, right?
It helps along the way.
I obviously like the blue the best. It's amazing.
I'm predisposed to not liking things where if I move my head, it doesn't do the right thing there, because that makes me feel bad. So any kind of content right now that's doing 360 video, I can't feel good when I do it because I feel kind of nauseous. So I know there's technologies in the pipeline that will help with that, light field technology and things. So I don't think that area is a dead area or anything. I think it's needs some more technology area. But right now, I think that computer-generated things are the best content that exists.
Yeah, maybe a question could be rephrased to what do you not like? Because I think there are a lot of good experiences and add-ons.
Okay, we'll do 2 more questions. Okay, go ahead, please.
Let's say you are a growing company and you're just breaking into VR and building a team. What would you advise on the talent to get and people to look for?
We know you need an audio person. We've already established that today, right?
I think we hire a lot of people. We're growing very fast as everyone is in this VR market. But, really what we look for, in everyone is whether they're a marketer to a producer to a developer or, just an account executive. We look for someone that has a fundamental understanding of VR from a technical side. You have to understand the technology. Even if you're just marketing it, you have to understand technically how does this work, and you need to apply it within your specific department. So we really look technically, do you fully understand? And then obviously, do you have the passion? Do you actually get this?
Yeah, right now at this size and early, adoption, I think passion is a really important thing. It's just something that you're trying out because, you think it's going to make it big. I don't think when it gets hard, it'll be as good for people like that. So right now, I think it is kind of a project of passion for a lot of people.
Yeah.
And it does get hard.
Same here. We look people more passionate.
I may add something to your question. That many of the people here, you can raise your hands if you're creating content or planning to create content. Okay, pretty much everyone. So this is the funny thing. Creating content is always a challenge. You're going to need a team. Either if you're creating CG or creating video, you're going to need rigs, you're going to need cameras, you're going to need computers for processing, you're going to need the tools, the Unity, the Pro, all that. So that requires capital. And passion is good, but if you don't have the resources, you're just going to get so far. This is very interesting. I will encourage everybody to find the right investment sources so you can get closer, tell your idea to somebody, to investors, to venture capitalists, to angel investors. Tell them what you think, tell them what you want to do, tell them what you want to achieve, and tell them what the opportunity you see is going to happen. And then, based on your team, which is full of passion, with your vision about your own specific project or your own specific environment or whatever you want to create, and you transmit that to the investors. And then, when you do that in the right way, you will get the attention, you will get the support. And the same thing happens with content. I mean, we can be creating content for free for a certain amount of time. But creating great content requires financing, requires funds, requires support. You can do 1 demo, 2 demos, 3 demos, 4 demos, 5 free demos, and then you need to pay the payroll. So you need to get resources, you need to get the capital, the investors aligned. And if there was like a message that I will shout right now to the world, I mean, they are here, to the investors, it will be to the investors. And everybody knows that it's going to be a great market. Pretty much everybody is very cautious about taking a decision of investing in new technologies or when there are no markets or where the companies are starting and there are no revenues. They are very cautious about it. My message will be, let's retake the venture of the venture capital. Let's take the adventure of investing in a project that doesn't exist in a market, that doesn't exist, but that we are building, that we are creating. That will be the message for everybody. Invite everybody who knows an investor to tell them, hey, invest in this. It's going to happen. So all these creative ideas that you have, if you put them together, you do your business plan, everything, you can bring it out to some investors. They will support it. And the investors should be, ready to listen, receptive. That's my message.
If you're making a team, I think that people can be a little bit wider varied than you might think. Like I think people in live theater have a lot to bring to VR because it's more like live theater. Or people in the amusement park business. Those things are very overlapped with VR. Not necessarily as overlapped with a traditional cinematographer because you don't have the control you have in
Okay, I think I'd love to hear just final remarks from everyone before we conclude the day. So, Raymond, why don't you start?
Well, this is just awesome. The first time I joined this professional event, this Immersive, it's so great. I learned so much, and I think this event is exactly what HTC want to do. We got a great partner for gaming, and HTC looking for all the contents with more non-gaming. And this is exactly what we want. So we've seen lots of opportunity. Everybody in the field has said like we also have raising the funding to support the content. I think this is. I'm so happy to be here. It's great.
Oh, we're happy to have you here. Good.
And I'm thankful to be here too. This is my second time, second year at Immersed, and it's phenomenal to see how much we've grown. And even in the last 24 months, to see the companies involved in VR now. It's not, it's gone beyond your garage style innovation, and you're seeing companies like HTC or Sony getting behind this, or AMD. We have massive companies that are expressing a lot of interest in this, and we have a lot of smart people that are innovating in, very niche areas within VR, trying to figure out very hard problems. And I think we have the brain trust within the community to do some very great things.
Yeah, the cool part is that we are all in this together, and that nobody is really too far ahead of anybody. And so it's a kind of a blank canvas that everybody's playing in. So it's great that at this point it's not just the big money that is going to be the differentiator, but actually the creativity, the passion, persistence, the belief in the product or the ideas that I think eventually will survive.
Yeah, I mean, our company has its own conference for all of our own developers, and then Oculus, they do something similar. But I think it's important that we have a place where industry people meet together across the companies and discuss things. and not things that are necessarily customer facing. So we don't really need it to be a customer event. It could be more of a get together of people in the industry talking about it. I think it's good. Yeah.
Yeah, I would say that we all are before a great opportunity. We're on the verge of the creation of this new ecosystem. Every single person here will definitely, in my mind, will be part of this ecosystem. But just by being here, you're demonstrating you're interested. I want to thank everybody. I want to thank Neil. But I want to thank you for being here, for learning, for talking, for interacting, for chatting with people, connecting. That's actually the most important thing for the industry. If we keep supporting all these events, coming here to these events, and everywhere in the world, they're going to be happening, there are going to be more and more. There's a need to bring this kind of meetups and conferences to South America, to Europe, to different parts of the world. We had the opportunity to be in Immersed in Spain, where we have one of our offices, and it was interesting to see the response from the European market, going and flying and talking and being there. So it's going to be a process. I invite you to do your best work and always think that whatever content you create has to be perfect for you. Like, you approve it, and you say, yes, this is something I'm proud of showing and demoing, and then you bring it out to the market. And that's going to be a key factor with your passion to make it happen. And the more content there is out there, the more the users are going to enjoy, and the content drives everything. Having all that content, having all this infrastructure, having all the different platforms are all the ingredients to make it happen. So thank you for being here.
So just so you know, we've got a 15-minute break, and then the next session starts at